we moved closer to Prague and came into the city and visited a number of synagogues, it was very clear that we could gain an understanding of what Jewish life had been like during the Middle Ages, the turn of the century. You could look up from the Jewish quarter in the Altmarschule and see Kafka's City of K right in front of you, gain an understanding of the challenges that were happening in different ideologies at different periods of both Jewish history and European history, and how they collided together both to create beautiful things as well as tremendous destruction for our people. So while sitting somewhere in the Altmarschule, actually I was sort of running around looking for where the legendary Gollum was actually laid to rest, but they wouldn't actually let me into all the rooms where allegedly he may lie, or at least the clay may lie. It occurred to me that that first visceral reaction I had as a college student to understanding the story, understanding the enormity of laws, understanding that all of these artifacts remained for us to see during the communist period that weren't as exhibited quite as nicely as they are today. But the museums that exist, these beautiful synagogues and the artifacts that are collected in them, many of you know, were preserved when the Nazis decided to usurp a Jewish museum project that had collected much of the Judaica, and as the deportations continued through East Europe, many of the Judaica and even violins and other musical instruments and other forms of expression of those Jewish families suddenly turned into what the Nazis had anticipated would be a museum of the extinct people. If Jewish life had been frozen in time in that moment, we would have the museum to recognize what Jewish life once was. But as I think about our mission today at Hillel, and the Jewish students who I ran into at Charles University, and all of our students who are exploring both their past as well as their future identities, it's clear to me that for this organization, Jewish life is not frozen in time. That we are an ever-breathing people who are discovering and a part of the creative creation of a Jewish people that will live into the future. Now today, in order for us to understand our importance to the Jewish community and to understanding the journeys of the students that we work with, it's critical to understand that we had to go inward and make some adjustments. And as I look at our movement over the past decade, it is clear that we have made a very dramatic shift, not just in the way we convene, the way we celebrate, and how we learn together. Those are significant, and we celebrate those things here. And we acknowledge them and we help build them. But even more so, we know, as our community is struggling with the issues of affiliation and of membership and of the like, we have made a very significant shift in our thinking. That instead of thinking of merely counting tuchuses and how you think about affiliation in very narrow terms, we made a significant leap in saying meaningful Jewish experiences were something that could be nurtured, but ultimately had to be owned by students themselves. And that we needed to begin that process with young adults, teaching them this, giving them, nurturing them in this direction, but giving them the self-confidence that when they leave college, they have the ability to create an enduring commitment to Jewish life. Now, we have understood something earlier than anyone else in the Jewish community, which is the power of social networks. A network for us.